B, apparently we're getting Kanye porn. I don't understand. I'm gonna go get my porn.
It's hard.
I mean, wasn't this guy building schools? And it was like having kids pray and like all kind of stuff in those schools. I mean, dude, this guy is all over the map. That's why I remember I said a couple of years ago, when he was going all Trump crazy and conservatives were running to wrap their arms around Kanye, I said, be careful here. I was like, be careful. Like, this is going to bite you. Kanye's about Kanye and nothing else. It's how he's always been. And I've said about him, I've used him as the example of good luck trying to tell somebody who's fallen ass backwards into everything that they wanted to stop acting the way they do. He literally got a record deal by jumping up on a table and screaming in the middle of a meeting. That's literally how it happened. He was trying to get the attention and he did it. Being Kanye has got Kanye everything he's ever wanted. And so he's never going to stop being this, but Kanye's rolling out a porn site, so we'll get to that. That will be 9 a.m. this morning. Also, Alec Baldwin was harassed inside of I believe it was a coffee shop. This was in New York. This woman claims to be, sticking up for the Rust armorer and the woman who had been shot there on that movie set. She's not. This is about Palestine and Israel. She makes it fully clear. She only talks about that Rust shooting once, talks about Palestine and Israel all throughout the audio. She's not looking for, she's going to claim she's a citizen journalist, and this is not citizen journalism. We will talk about the difference between those two when we give you some audio at 8 o'clock. This woman is a nightmare. Honestly, people who hate Alec Baldwin and who cannot stand him, who want to see him jailed, were sticking up for him all day yesterday, which honestly, by the end of the night, had me a little suspicious about it. We'll talk about that too. I got some audio for you. We'll give you that coming up at 8 o'clock. Looking forward to that. I also saw this yesterday. We're going to have to spend at least part of the 7 o'clock hour talking about this. The Secret Service is apparently preparing for what they will have to do, if Trump gets sent to prison. I don't think he's going to jail. I've said it clearly. I still don't think he's going to jail this morning. And I don't think the headline yesterday that the Secret Service is preparing for it means that he is going to jail. I saw a lot of people saying that yesterday, and I was like, this feels like wishful thinking. I could be wrong here, and I don't really have a dog in the fight. But I read that as, well, he's a president, and this isn't going to just be we take him to Gen Pop and put him in Block C. Like, we're not going to do that. What do we do? How do we do this? Let's not wait until this happens. Let's make sure we're proactive and we have a plan for, the first time this country has ever done this. And so, of course, they're working out the scenarios. Of course, they're working out what you would have to do to jail a president. They're not just telling you this is what's going to happen because they're preparing for it. I saw people jumping all over that yesterday. I was like, I'd be careful on that. Now, I'm a pessimist, and I will talk about this at 7 o'clock. The only reason I don't think he's going to jail is because I have no faith in let me be careful how I say this. I don't think I'll ever see a president go to jail in my lifetime. There it is. That's what you can keep his name, what he's accused of, what he did and did not do. You can keep all of that out of it. I don't think it has anything, for my view, it has nothing to do with the candidates whatsoever. I don't think I'll see a president go to jail in my lifetime. I could be wrong about that. I've been wrong about plenty of things in here. Get a lot right too, though. And so we'll see who ends up being right about that. We'll talk about that a little bit coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. I just don't see that as a thing that's going to happen. Also, Roseanne is out there claiming somebody raped her back in the day. She's not actually claiming this. She says she's kidding. I think she's kidding, but it did not come off funny at all. And it's not because of the subject matter at all. It just did not come off funny at all. I've got some audio from Roseanne. We'll give you that also. That will be at 7 o'clock this morning. That had people beside themselves a little bit yesterday.
Here's what's next on the Stansbury Show.
Okay, so I talk about it all the time. If you make fun of a heavyset woman, you're fat shaming. You make fun of a fat man, we're just screwing around. We're having a little bit of fun. And this next story I have kind of proves it. Next on the Stansbury Show. Welcome back to the program. I'll rock the bank with you at 9. Get that first $1,000 keyword passed out. Not bad for midweek there. Got the draft tomorrow. Maybe make some bets on who you think's going first, second, third.
Yeah.
Use our money to do it. 9 a.m. I'll get you that keyword.
It's a gas station right there.
All right. So I always say it's not what happens. It's who did it or who we're talking about that will shape people's opinions. I once posted a meme. Not even a meme, really. It was a picture of Lizzo. And she didn't have any pants on. And it was from the back. And I said, if you score your $1,000 keyword today, you could buy Lizzo some pants. And people seemed to like that post. It went pretty well. But it was, that does not align with the values of our blah, 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 and all this stuff. I was like, oh, come on. Oh, come on. You can clearly tell the woman can stand to lose a few pounds, right? But that's body shaming if you say that about Lizzo. Body shaming. But nobody cared when we were posting memes, and by I don't mean the radio station or me, I mean the public, about Fat Axel and Fat Vince Neil. That's all fine and good. That's all fine. Why? Are men tougher or something?
Lost.
Are they stronger or something? I don't understand the difference. I don't understand the difference. Nobody can ever explain it to you either, because they don't understand the difference either. Right? I've struggled with my weight. I've been open and honest about that. They used to call me Chunk when I was little. And my brother's made fun of me forever, and now he's the one with the weight problem. But, you know, welcome to karma, right? They'll kind of get into my family dynamics of it. But I'm right about this, and I have been right about it. And I don't quite understand it. Although I think we all do kind of understand it, don't we? Yeah, we do. We kind of know what's happening. Why? Because it's a body built by damn jelly rolls. Like, that's literally why. Right? This guy invites a lot of this in. The body shape, the face tattoos, the gold teeth, the woman, the wife whose podcast is called Dumb Blonde. I mean, literally, they beg for this kind of stuff. And apparently he's getting it. Jelly Roll went out there and told everybody he would like to lose 100 pounds. Most trainers and dietitians will tell you that if you start at Jelly Roll's weight, losing 100 pounds isn't necessarily crazy. The first 60 are probably going to melt off you pretty fast. That last 40 might be a little tough. The first 60 are going to be like, oh, thank God, bro, we're good. And just dump right off your ass. That's what's going to happen. When you're that size, if you try even a little, you are going to lose some weight, right? That's going to be a thing. So apparently two left social media because of it. His wife, Bunny, teased a clip from her Dumb Blonde where she says, my husband got off the internet because he is so tired of being bullied about his effing weight. She added, that makes me want to cry because he is the sweetest angel baby. Dude, the way women talk about their men like that, it's so funny. My husband doesn't show it to you guys, but I'm going to have a very vulnerable moment here. It hurts him. Now, we can make the argument, should she be out there talking about him, being vulnerable for him to a mass audience? And the only reason I say it, it's not like, shut up, you're a woman, you don't get to talk. That's not what it is. I know plenty of women thought that's what I just said. I didn't. But he is the celebrity. She is becoming one because of his talent and her podcast, because of who she's married to. Nobody gives a damn about Bunny. Come on, right? She's a hot-looking lady. They literally fall off trees, right? Like this guy, dude, there are hot women everywhere. And I mean literally everywhere. You know how many hot women live in this city? Tons. I see them every day. I saw a woman at Giant Eagle yesterday damn near snap my neck off. I was like, oh my God, dude, look at her. There are beautiful people literally everywhere. That's her ability, is that she was good looking enough to where a guy who was going to get some money off his talent was like, I want one of those. give me one of those, right? So should you really be vulnerable for him? There's a lot of crafting that goes into the celebrity persona. Things aren't accidental, right? It also doesn't come off great when your wife has to stick up for you. I've said this to plenty of women and my mother about my comment sections at my socials. I'm like, don't ever say anything public. Don't ever do it. I can't protect you if you get out there and start running your mouth about me. If you don't say anything, I can tell people when they attack you that this is overboard. What are you doing? You don't bring the families into it. But if you open your mouth and start antagonizing people, then it's kind of all systems go at that point. Don't do it. You're only hurting me when you do this, not helping me. Just don't read it, Ma. Just don't, to whichever woman I happen to be with, just don't read it. Just don't be doing that, right? At the beginning of April, Jelly Roll, 39 years old, told people that he would like to live to 40. I'm kidding. That he had already lost 70 pounds ahead of a 5K that he plans on running next month. That's great for him. I've really been kicking ass, man. I'm doing 3 miles a day, 4 to 6 days a week, he said. That's pretty good. I'm doing 20 to 30 minutes in the sauna. That's also very good. 6 minutes in a cold plunge every day. I got to get one of those cold plunge tubs. I got to buy one of those. Those are absolutely beneficial for you. He said, I'm eating healthy right now. I'll give him credit for the right now. You know what I mean? Because it's tough, man. It is. It's hard. It is absolutely tough. He went on to say, I was thinking I plan on losing another 100 and something pounds. I feel this good down this weight already. I can only imagine what I'm going to feel like by the time I go out on tour. So there's a lot to break down here. First, nobody cares because we're making fun of a man. So everybody's telling her to shut up a lot, like what I'm doing right now, and because he's a man. Also, this comes off way better if Jelly's just on the pod with her and says, yeah, man, I got to tell you, people forget that sometimes just because you're famous, but just because you have a little bit of money, that we still have feelings. We're still people. Like, let off their failure and their anger about their own lives on somebody else. I understand that's what that is. Doesn't mean I got to love it. Then all of a sudden we got a vulnerable moment with Jelly Roll where it's like, oh, dude, good for you. Like, good for you for sticking up for you a little bit. Once your wife's out there crying for you, it's kind of like, all right, buddy. All righty then. Time to maybe pack that in. But nobody's going to give a damn about this because it's not Lizzo, it's not a woman, and men are just, I guess tougher, right? And they're just supposed to be able to take it because they're tougher. It's 330-450-7625 to send a text to the studio. You can also find me on your socials, The Stansberry Show.
I told you, I didn't sleep. We couldn't sleep.
You know, for years I have said that one of the, whether it be at work and in your relationships, it does happen, right? So I'm not trying to deny that. But the rise of selfish has really taken a hold. I've said, I call it the religion of me. And I think I'm right about that. I have a piece of audio here I want to play you because this is being passed off as virtue, and I think a lot of it, not all of it, I think a lot of it is actually selfish. And this will help us circle back to another saying I use a lot on the program: perspective. How do you want to see this? I see this as selfishness, a lot of it. Let's take a listen to this.
Do you know what happens after your funeral?
Well, no. I don't know for sure what happens after my funeral. I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. Honestly, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about the afterlife personally. I just kind of hope when I'm done, I'm just kind of done. I didn't really enjoy my time being alive on Earth. I don't necessarily want to be conscious or thinking about things or like have any other responsibility. Dude, just put me in the ground and I want that to be the end of it. I'm not saying that is the end of it. I'm saying that's what I want the end of it to be.
In a few short hours, the crying will die down.
Oh my goodness.
Well, good.
I didn't think
People should not sob for the rest of their lives because I'm not here. There's a difference between missing me and not being. Wild difference between those two things. People
drink.
Yes, there are responsibilities that are part of life. Yes, you were
Discussing current events over coffee.
Yes, human beings will move the conversation along so it's not just somber. We can talk about what's kind of happening and then maybe circle back to some, happy memories about our family member that has just died. I'm yet to hear a problem in this audio yet.
And some people will call your family to tell them that they can't make it in person because of an emergency.
Well, other people have emergencies. Should they be sad? Should my fellow coworkers? Yeah, absolutely. But move on. Absolutely move on. I'm not expecting the world to stop when I'm not here. The ego behind some of these statements will.
In a few days, your children will go back to work because their bereavement leave has run out.
Okay, now here I can maybe meet you halfway. Should bereavement be a little bit longer? Maybe. I went to work I was a board op. I wasn't even on the air. I was just making sure that the station was on the air. And they all, now, to the credit, everybody at that radio station came in there and said, what the hell are you doing here? Go home. And I said, no. I said, I want to be where I want to be right now. I want to be, now, whether or not I made the right decision, that's up for debate.
What is that?
Right? That is up for debate. That's where I wanted to be. That's where I felt he would have wanted me to be. And I still maintain that is. But should people get a little bit more time off of work when a family member dies, close family member there? Yeah, Absolutely.
In a
No,
month,
you've never been back.
your spouse will be watching a comedy on TV
You've never been this way.
and start to laugh.
Thank God! Thank God that in a month's time, she can have a moment of normalcy in her life after being rocked to her core about the fact that her life partner just died on her. God forbid she smiled once inside of that month. It doesn't mean she's strange D she can get her hands on. That's not what that means. It means there's a rerun of Friends on and she thinks it's funny. And that for a moment, she was able to forget that the most awful thing that's happened to her recently happened. For a moment, she was able to forget that. God, how terrible of her.
You'll be forgotten at an astonishing pace.
That is not true at all. You were not forgotten. Not if you lived right. This entire show, not entire, 85% of this entire show is about life lessons I learned from somebody who was not with us, who died almost 30 years ago. Do you honestly think I forgot that man? That would be the biggest failure of my life if people felt I forgot that man. I'm able to live my life, yes. That doesn't mean I forgot somebody.
If people will forget you so easily,
That's not forgetting you.
then who are you living your life for?
Well, me and other people. Life is about being in service to other people. That's how you're going to end up happy. Not doing whatever it is you want. Notice, everybody is doing whatever the hell it is they want these days. And yet, happiness at an all-time low. Man, it's almost like those two things may be connected to one another. It's almost like that's what's happening.
You spent your whole life worrying about what people will think about you.
Yes, because it matters. Yes, because it matters.
They don't. So live your life for you.
You mean be selfish.
I don't know what that
Live your
is.
life for you, be selfish. There's a thin line between those two things.
Cold.
Wanting people to not be able to get over your death is the most egotistic. 9 a.m. this morning, Kanye looking to get into pornography. Won't be long before he's a performer, I'm guessing. I think that's what people are going to be looking for, but we'll get there coming up at 9 o'clock. Kanye's plans to enter the porn business. All right. Yeah, you know what the world doesn't have enough of? If we could just get some more pornography online, please. I mean, good God. There is literally porn everywhere. All right. Roseanne Barr went a little viral again. Most of you, I would imagine, have seen this. It got circled around quite a bit yesterday. Roseanne is, I believe, joking around here, and I say I believe because she doesn't really set this up like she's trying to be funny about it. She doesn't. She sets this up as if she's trying to be serious about it, which I think is going to make it tougher when people are like, you shouldn't do this, and she's like, well, I'm just kind of screwing around. It's like, well, you get that the current president, Joe Biden, had raped her in said store. This is her, I think, obviously mocking the E. Jean Carroll situation. She says it's not, and it's like, Rose, come on. I mean, come on. I'll defend your right to be able to say stuff, but at the end of the day, we can't poke the bear and then go, hey, look, this bear is saying stuff to me. Like, that's a little crazy. But this is the audio here from Roseanne.
What happened, Mom? We're at Bergdorf. Are you okay?
That must be the name of I think it's a shoe store.
You look very shocked.
No, I'm not okay because I just had a horrible flashback, a horrible memory. Right now, I realize that 26 years ago.
Now, I think she's obviously mocking how long it takes for victims to kind of come out and tell you their story or maybe contact police. We will get into that part of the conversation once we get through Roseanne's audio.
Joe Biden raped me right here in that dressing room in the shoe department where I went in to change my shoes.
Oh my God.
He raped me in here. Joe Biden. He raped me right here in the shoe department at Bergdorf Goodman.
Are you okay?
No, I'm...
And that's the end of the audio. Now,
Big old crap.
false accusation and all this stuff. It's like, well, she didn't file a police report. She went online and said something. Really happened. I would have rather she, at the end of this, kind of alludes to the fact that she's screwing around to give herself that, but it's not a requirement. It's what I think you should have done with it. It's not a requirement. It isn't. She's not credibly accusing the president of this. She's highlighting the fact that look at some of these cases that come out and when people tell you this stuff happens. I saw a lot of people saying, oh my God, she's mocking rape victims. I'm not so sure she is. I mean, indirectly, that's what happens with it. I think she's mocking how a group of people will believe some women but won't believe other women. You know, like maybe Tara Reid or Paula Jones, who were just, you know, hoes looking for the payout, but like believe all women. That's what she's making fun of. She did a poor job of it. My problem isn't that she said it. My problem isn't the fact that I think she's credibly trying to accuse the president of raping her. She's not. My problem isn't that she's minimizing the struggle of a rape survivor. I don't have an issue with that. I understand other people may. I don't. My issue is that you're trying to be funny and it's not. And I don't think it's not funny because of the subject matter. I think it's just not that funny. You know, you watched it before you did that. Although I guess they could have been living it. I don't know that, actually. You know what? I'll pause there. I don't know that. That could have been done live. I don't think it was. I don't know for sure that it wasn't. So I'll put a pin in that. But my issue is that it's not funny. Like, it's not. And it doesn't come off like a joke. So the whole, dude, I'm clearly kidding. I was not ready to tell anybody. My parents recognized it, got me in therapy pretty early. But I didn't tell anybody that. And then one day, I was working with a radio host. And we were at a coffee shop.
Get a shortcut
and he said to me,
here.
what happened?
Yeah, it's just.
What do you mean?
Alternate route.
Because people don't end up in this by
shortcut.
accident.
Shortcuts are usually quick. But
and I told him the story.
It's not a shortcut.
And then he told me.
There's the cuckoo clock.
And then we got in the car, drove to the radio studio, turned on the microphones at 3 o'clock, and told everybody. And I've said since that day, that's the first day I felt like a survivor versus.
I need to poop.
Because I just had hid it forever. I hope they find out. They're gonna find out my secret. They're gonna know, man. And once I was no longer worried about that anymore, I felt better in my life. I felt like 2,000 pounds was lifted off my back after that. But I wasn't ready to talk about it openly and publicly before that. I've said plenty of times in here, I don't think you get to tell victims when they're ready to talk about something. Now, having said that, this part of life, the more it looks like you're out for a payday. As a way to bring somebody down or do this, or the longer you wait, look how convenient it looks. Oh yeah, now all of a sudden you remember this? You're going to deal with that the longer you wait. It's just the reality. That's what's going to happen. So if you wait that long, expect people not to believe you as much. That's what's going to happen.
Is that the word largest?
I've said to men though, imagine your neighbor over the fence telling you he doesn't believe your daughter because she waited 5 years to tell anybody. You're going to jump over that fence and beat that dude to death. Just remember that. Right? Because we would. We absolutely would. So there's a difference between calling the cops and talking about this publicly. In a lot of cases, you would be right. And I think the longer you wait to call the police because you want action taken will make you look like you're trumping up charges there. It will. You might not be, but it's going to look that way. When you start talking about it publicly because you know all of that's coming out.
Lord.
And after you've been, this was just happened to me. Everybody talk about it amongst yourself and then make sure you scream at me on social media and call me names because of it. I understand why people don't necessarily want to go through that after having been through a tragedy. I get it. I absolutely understand it. But the longer you wait, the more suspicious people are going to be of your story. Whether that's fair or not, that is the situation. Most people who are attacked are not done so by a celebrity. So I understand when people are saying, you should maybe go to the cops here. But people are afraid. My parents are going to disown me. My husband's going to leave me because I was raped by another man. My people in my life aren't going to be able to get over it. Nobody. It affects everything in your life. And then beyond that, you're only you. You got to deal with it. Everybody else tells you how they're in it with you, hashtag support, and all this other stuff. But when push comes to shove, you are alone with it all. So if people wait a while to tell you that story, man, it's like, yeah, I get why it makes you suspicious. I do. I understand that. But that comes from a place of it not happening to you. And you know what? Good for you, man. Because that makes your ass lucky. 8 a.m. this morning, I got some audio on how Alec Baldwin is winning over the right again. This is pretty wild. We'll get there coming up at 8 o'clock. We had been talking about Roseanne. She had posted this video, on socials, where she was claiming that the current president, Joe Biden, has raped her. She's not actually claiming this. This is what happened.
What happened, Mom? Where Bergdorf? Are you okay? You look very shook.
No, I'm not okay because I just had a horrible flashback, a horrible memory. Right now, I realize that 26 years ago, Joe Biden raped me right here in that dressing room in the shoe department where I went in to change my shoes.
Oh my God.
He raped me in here. Joe Biden.
Wouldn't she have been too old back then? He's more into the preteens.
He raped me right here in the shoe department at Bergdorf Goodman.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not. I need to sue. I need to sue.
So she's clearly mocking some of these cases, and I think mostly the E. Jean Carroll. She says she wasn't, but I mean, Rose, come on. Like, yeah, you were. And which, by the way, is, I mean, it's not necessarily how I would want to spend my time, but okay, do whatever you want. People were like, oh my God, defamation, and oh my God, she's doing this, and wrongful accusation, all this stuff. It's like, well, she didn't file a police report on it. She posted a video. You don't know how it feels. Reality. And it didn't go down the way you thought it would. It went down this way. Now I said, the longer you wait to do that, the more it looks like you're being opportunistic. That's just the reality. That's just true. Just the way it is. There's no denying that. Doesn't mean it's right, but that's the way it's going to be. You know? And I said, I understand people wanting victims to go to the cops to protect other people, make sure it doesn't happen again. When a celebrity's involved, I understand why some people don't, though. Because you become the story. Right? And then everybody calls you dirty words. It's like, wait a minute. Like, wait a minute. Now, plenty of opportunistic pretend victims have been...
Nice.
Have you heard? He's on trial right now. Have you heard about this? I'm mocking that because it's all anybody's talking. And yesterday the headline was, officials planning in case Trump is jailed.
More beautiful horses there.
Later, another headline was, the Secret Service is preparing for what to do in case he is jailed. Those two words escaped a lot of people yesterday. I don't believe that this means they think this is what's going to happen. Dumbest people on the face of the planet. Whatever you want to say about him, did you see that man driving down the street in New York? They're lined up 8 deep on the side of the street waiting to get a sight of him. They love him. People love this dude, and it makes other people angry that people love him. Enough to win a general, but it is happening. They're coming out in droves for this dude. They love him. The people who love him. They're all in. I don't believe what the news is telling you here, and they know this too. I don't believe this is the Secret Service telling you, we think he's going to jail. I think what they're telling you is this is my opinion. Let's be the only one. Let's let all the previous presidents go. Moving forward, just want to wing it the day of.
Remember when we had all
Guardians
that
win
snow
again
and everything was
last night,
closed down?
4-1. Late rally, take care of the Red Sox. I believe the second time this season that team has won 5 in a row there, the Guardians. Remember when everybody told you that they were going with
Dutch Valley
a
was
first-time
closed.
baseball manager and how that was going to lead to a disastrous
That's
Doug
season?
where
Buggy's for sale.
Where are all the anti-Stephen vote people? What happened to them? Where did they go? Remember? We were sunk. The guards were sunk. It was over. Never going to be able to do it, man. The guy's never doing it. I remember I said then, well, there are a lot of jobs you can't get the experience in until you've done it. Most, including mine. So you can think somebody's ready for this until you melt down. I mean, guys, come on. What are we talking about here? Like, it just seems a little nuts to me. So go Guards there. They play again tonight, 6:10. That at Progressive Field. Hopefully we'll be talking about a win again tomorrow before the Cardinals. Now, we were talking about the former president. He is on trial, and some of the headlines yesterday is that the Secret Service is preparing in case they have to put Trump in jail. Of course, people jump the gun. Did you forget what in case? I also think it's enough. Bring it. They're gonna
Wish I had the
prepare.
money. Wish I had the. Said I wish I had the
Figures
money. I
out
want that
every
truck.
math equation we've ever had. Can't count.
I don't know. More than I can afford.
Oh my God, it's awesome, dude. I love this place. It is, dude. It is amazing. Of course, they're preparing for it.
Why have lots of car behind?
I'm not sure
Garage
you're going to
sales.
see it
What?
Garage sales.
now.
Where?
Seth Judge, though, is.
Oh my goodness,
I mean, I don't want to say they have it out for him because that sounds like I feel like it's rigged and then a kangaroo and like all this other stuff, and that's not necessarily my position. But let's be honest, that the judge doesn't like him, right? Like for sure. I mean, we've kind of seen that. But I just don't think you're going to see it. Now, what somebody said to me here, and this is interesting, is that if you want to, said once you throw a president in jail, get ready, because it's going to happen. It will become a thing that happens way more often. Not every other time a guy or woman ends their presidency will it happen. But if we really went through history with a fine-tooth comb, we're going to find out it's like, here's your metal cup, buddy. Go sing the woes. Wrap that along those bars, buddy. You know that. No, I've said maybe not even go past. But if future presidents, we will, once you jail one, we will for sure do that. Absolutely. And I said, I don't think you could just use a regular jail there. Maybe you could. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just like way out in left field here. I could be. I don't think I am, but I never think I am. So who the hell knows? But to me, that just doesn't feel like Rikers Island. You know? It doesn't. It feels like, no, we kind of need a special thing here. You know? Now, if they do that for the former president, if they do that for Trump,
Look at people wait.
he has his people saying lose their